Mrs. Peak, could you please call us back from closed session?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The council has reconvened from closed session during which it discussed potential litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9 sub D sub 4. Potential litigation that the City Council has authorized initiation of certain actions that will be disclosable if and when they are actually commenced. So that concludes the closed session report.
Okay, thank you very much. And with that, the special meeting is adjourned. And we're going to open right up our regular City Council meeting for April 8th, 2025. And could you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just read that. Sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, moving on to our invocation. God, we ask your blessing on those who have been called to lead this community in which we live, work, and play. Guide us peacefully through debate. Remind us that we are not only leaders, but also servants, and that it is our responsibility to serve the common good of all. Grant us the wisdom and courage to know and do what is good, right, and true. May we speak out when it is time to speak out and listen patiently and receptively when it's time to listen. May we always be guided by the spirit of community, by the spirit of justice, and by the spirit of love. Amen. Okay, sorry about that. We're not new here, just running in from our last meeting. Anyway, could we please have the roll call, Mr. Skolick?
Yes, Councilmember LeBlanc,
Present.
Councilmember Musgrove,
Here.
Councilmember Nunez,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Sanella,
Here.
and Mayor Jones.
Here. Okay, we have one proclamation or presentation. If the council could please join me in front. So April is Fair Housing Month. We should have here this evening Joanne Franciscus from the Legal Aid Society and the San Diego Executive Director, Bobby Case. Good to see you all again. We do this every year, and I'm glad that you come back every single year. So anyway, fair housing is important to us here in San Marcos, and we are recognizing Fair Housing Month, the April 11th. It's the 57th anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act, which protects individuals from discrimination on the basis of race, color, sex, disability, religion, familial status, and national origin in the sale or rental of housing. The City of San Marcos is committed to exemplify the Fair Housing Act, Title IX of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 by continuing to address discrimination in our community and support programs that will educate the public about the right to equal housing opportunities. When access to housing is unfairly limited, it in turn limits access to good-paying jobs, quality schools, and economic opportunity. The City of San Marcos affirmatively furthers fair housing by providing fair housing services and information to residents as part of our fair housing program adopted by this City Council. And the City of San Marcos is a member of the San Diego Regional Alliance for Fair Housing, whose mission is to promote fair housing throughout the entire region of San Diego County. The federal government has designated the month of April as Fair Housing Month, during which interested parties from the public and private sector will participate in a nationwide effort to provide education about fair housing laws and to promote fair housing practices. Therefore, we, the City Council of San Marcos, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Fair Housing Month and invite all of our citizens to join us in promoting and encouraging fair housing concepts. So did you have a couple of words for us today? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jones, and to the entire San Marcos City
council, and staff for the work that you do. We're proud to call you a partner and to accept this recognition of our work to ensure that City of San Marco residents have fair and equal access to housing. My name is Joanne Franciscus. I'm the CEO and Executive Director of the Legal Aid Society of San Diego. Legal Aid provides free legal services to lower-income residents throughout the county, including those in the city of San Marcos. Our mission is to improve lives by advancing justice through effective, efficient, and vigorous legal advocacy, education, and outreach. In 1968, Congress passed the Fair Housing Act, which prohibits discrimination in the purchase, sale, rental, and financing of housing. The act and its legacy represent hope, safety, and opportunities to break out of the cycle of poverty. But while we celebrate the progress of this law has brought about, we must also acknowledge that there is still work to be done. Today, people continue to experience discrimination when they attempt to rent, purchase, and finance a home. Last year alone, our office helped almost 200 San Marcos residents who are struggling with equal access to housing. Every day, our Fair Housing team works to protect the civil rights of San Marcos residents by preventing and combating discriminatory conduct through a wide variety of assistance. We provide legal education on fair housing rights and responsibilities. We help obtain reasonable accommodations for tenants who have disabilities. We file administrative claims and bring federal impact litigation. And we also operate a fair housing testing program to uncover and end discriminatory practices by housing providers. Fair housing laws are essential to combat segregation, improve health, and provide better education and employment opportunities. But laws alone do not bring about justice. We need someone there to enforce them. As the late Martin Luther King Jr. said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Thank you to the City of San Marcos for partnering with us so that we can continue to fight for justice and equal access to housing for all San Marcos residents, not just during Fair Housing Month, but throughout the entire year.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our consent calendar.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
you have a conflict on item 8.
Okay.
My firm has represented interfaith in the past.
All right, we'll give you a moment to leave. Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. Are there any items that any council members wish to pull? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve?
Madam Mayor, we do have public comment on number
Oh.
7.
I'm sorry. I see it here. Okay, we have a few speakers, 5, on consent item number 7. So do I have a motion to approve everything but item number 7?
Move to
I'll
approve the
move.
balance.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Seeing none? Okay, item number 7. That is the transition of the city's aquatics programming from in-house service delivery to a contractor-provided model, and authorizing the city manager to appropriate funds in the fiscal year 2025-26 operating budget with respect to the same. And I think Mrs. Peak had a conflict on item number 8, so we can bring her back in because we have voted on that.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Sorry, we just want to make sure she comes back. Welcome back. We voted on everything except for item number 7, Mrs. Peak, and we have a few speakers. First up will be Mike Sims, followed by Karen Peterson, and then Deanne Doe will be third, followed by Javier, I think it's Rubio, followed by Shenandoah Weiss. So Mike Sims, you're up first. Welcome.
Well, I'd just like to thank the city for being generous with the program for swimming. I like the way you take care of the parks, and I hope you don't change anything when it's taken over by somebody else beside the city. So thanks for being generous with your services.
Thank you. We appreciate your comments. Next up is Karen Peterson. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. I have been a resident of San Marcos for over 50 years, and over the years I've had the privilege of taking part in many of the programs that the San Marcos Parks and Recreation has offered. Over the past 8 or 9 years, I've actively participated in the aquatics programming, and my experience with all of the staff, the people that work at the pools, the people that maintain the pools, has been nothing but very, very positive. And I feel very fortunate to have that opportunity and that we have that in our community. The citizens of San Marcos passed a measure recently to raise our city taxes 1 cent to help fund community programs and services. This measure said that it would raise approximately $20 million to help fund many city projects and services. I do not feel that the money we voted to raise should be allocated to private companies to come in and run our programs. I believe that privatizing will take the word community out of the wonderful services that we have. And that is how I feel about it, so thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Javier Rubio. I'm sorry, Diane Doe, followed. My apologies, Javier. You're up there. Let's just switch. Let's just switch the order there. No problem. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Jones and City Council, for allowing me to speak tonight. My name is Javier Rábago. I serve as one of the head lifeguards for the City of San Marcos under pool manager Anesia Cuevas. I'm also a Palomar College student majoring in law. I attended Double Peak and graduated Mission Hills High School. I'm speaking tonight not only on my behalf, but on behalf of a dedicated team of guards, instructors, and leaders who have poured their time, their skill, and their heart into this department. Tonight I stand before you not just as an employee, but as an example of what this department can build when it invests in its people. When I joined aquatics, I didn't fully understand the weight of this job. I thought it was about watching the water and kindly reminding children not to run on the pool deck. But quickly, I learned that this was more than just a summer job. During my senior year of high school, one of my classmates had a medical emergency. Without hesitation, I provided the appropriate care and led both students and teachers as I instructed them to move tables, clear out classrooms, and contact EMS. Since then, I've responded to real emergencies, not just at the pool, but at home as well, ranging from near drownings, diabetic emergencies, strokes, and head injuries. I've trained younger guards, led teams through difficult times, and helped ensure that every person who enters our facility leaves safely, feeling like they belong in our beautiful community. At the same time, I've balanced this job with a full college workload, studying and striving to build a future rooted in law and public service. Working for this department has given me the confidence to speak in rooms like this, to lead teams of my peers, and to pursue a future with a mindset built on integrity, professionalism, and grit. As the city considers this transition, I ask that you don't just look at the cost or the contracts. Look at the people. Look at what you've built and who you've built. I support progress, I support solutions. But I also believe that when something creates this much growth and this much impact, it deserves to be preserved, respected, and reinvested in. San Marcos Aquatics gave me a chance to lead, a chance to grow, and a chance to serve the community who is here to support, that raised me. Whether under city or a private company, I hope you continue investing in the next generation of leaders just as you have invested in me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Diane Doe, followed by Shenandoah Weiss. Sorry, I went out of order. A lot of papers moving around up here.
That's all right. Thank you, Madam Mayor and City Council members, for allowing me to speak tonight. I, too, am a longtime resident here for about 21 years, and this pool has been everything to me. I have very fond memories, and I've made new friendships and bonds with the staff members as well as fellow swimmers. And it was rather a shock to hear the news that this will become privatized, because then, to me, I feel that privatizing this will take the community out of the community pool aspect of things. So tonight, I just hope with my fellow folks here, I hope that the council members can take into consideration that privatizing won't be the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Shenandoah Weiss. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm also bringing up Yvette Conway, who meant to sign up, but anyways, whether she can speak or not. But I just share the spirit of all that's been kind of said around the worry about what privatization does to public services. I think we're living in a very precarious time, and there's lots of collective unknowing. And when we found out about this, not in an official way, just kind of from hearsay at the pool, it was quite shocking. And I really want to be a fight for protecting what is good and in the public interest, and have not seen privatization pan out in that way. So there's also a few things I think we just also want to understand about what outsourcing would mean for the pool. For example, would it mean that it actually costs taxpayers less money to outsource? How much would the staff be paid? We love these lifeguards, as this gentleman just so eloquently spoke. They're great exemplars of leadership in the community, and I'm not sure if they'll have jobs or be considered if there are jobs to be had. And we really want to support the kind of exemplar services that they offer and make sure that they're paid fairly. Also, will the services at the pool be really negatively affected, as in the hours? A lot of us who are working parents come early in the morning before we do a school drop-off. Seniors use the pool, and it really is, as a public pool, makes it accessible for those that are lower income. I think that was, isn't there? Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a long list in here, but she already mentioned most of that.
If you'd
But-
like to,
Yeah.
sorry, could we stop the clock for just
Yeah.
one moment? If you'd like to fill out a speaker slip, you can definitely have 3 full minutes
No,
if you'd
that's
like.
okay, because she already mentioned
Oh,
most of
okay,
that.
okay.
But, my question is, why does the city want to outsource the aquatics?
You go ahead and start the clock back.
And also, that's you can clarify whether or not outsourcing will cost the city of San Marcos and its taxpayer less money. That's what I need to know, too.
Yeah, and just to close by saying the pool isn't just a pool, it's not
Yes.
just a place where people get exercise, although that's a great benefit. It's really a community gathering. It's where we support each other in lots of things, and we support our young people in growing into great, exemplars of this city. And just it's just really.
It's a community.
It's a community, and it's, what do I want to say? An invaluable place and space, and we just really want to protect.
Also, I'd like to add too, because when I work, we did outsourcings. I did several times outsourcings, and we had for a big company in America, but we ended up in-source, bring that back. So just to let you know, that's what happened if we outsource. So please look at that carefully before you make any kind of decision.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I do have a couple of questions of staff, and I think probably, Michelle, you'll be able to answer these. So when I read this item, because there is a whole summary as to what the reasoning on this. So when I read the summary that some of the, and by the way, just for everyone out in the audience too, I've actually heard of instances where we've had last minute class cancellations, which is really tough. Like if you have a younger child that is is going to their swim day, and they are all excited, and then at the last minute you get a cancellation. That certainly isn't something that we want to perpetuate. It doesn't happen all the time, but I've heard of a few of examples of that. So the reasons that the challenges that we have faced are a shortage of lifeguards and general market competition, vacancies and turnover, and then also the time and effort that the Parks and Rec team staff has had, addressing these issues. Anyway, so our long-term goals are always the service delivery, making sure that our citizens are, their quality of life is the best that it possibly can be. And so I guess, and it is not cheaper. It's actually slightly more expensive, correct? It's, I think, $3,000 is what I'm reading, correct?
Yes, there's an incremental increase in cost.
But the service delivery, in the end, is supposed to be much better. And we will be, I'm assuming, looking at this in a year, 6 months, just making sure that it's doing what we want it to do. But I'd like for you just to kind of maybe address some of the concerns that have been brought up this evening.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. In order for us to open the pools on time this year and conduct the summer swim, we needed to explore other alternate options. We were not able to find the stable staffing that would allow for the mandatory 2 lifeguards on deck throughout the summer programming, and we did not want to cancel anything last minute, which we had some instances last summer, and it was disruptive to the community. So we were able to find this group out of Mission Viejo that has a proven track record of providing great service. Their references came highly recommended. They have a vast network of staff so that we'll be able to pull from their existing staff. And the thing that was most important to us is that our amazing staff, I mean, you see this fine young man in the audience, I mean, how can we not be proud to be a part of his story? So we wanted to be sure that our incredible employees were going to be taken care of, and this opportunity actually allows our employees to earn a higher hourly wage. In addition, because of public employment laws, we cannot give our part-time employees more than 999 hours a year. Because this will be outsourced, there's no limit. So our employees, if we want to pay for law school and work as many hours as possible, that is an opportunity that will now be available to our great hardworking employees. So it was a win from the perspective that these great people were going to get a higher wage, possibly more hours if they wanted it, more access. They could work in San Marcos, they could work in Mission Viejo, they could work in other locations for a company, so there's some more advancement opportunities as well. And there is a certification required, so our employees will have that paid for by the city. They will do it on paid company time, and then they'll be in possession of both the Red Cross certification and an additional certification, which again opens up opportunities for our folks. So safety, better working conditions and pay for our employees, and hopefully a great customer experience for our community, because I think everybody that spoke is spot on. This is about community. These are community pools, and we're going to keep that.
Okay, and just as a clarifying question, you mentioned that the employees would be working for the subcontractor. The subcontractor, so if they got all of the hours they wanted here in San Marcos, they could actually work elsewhere for the same company? Okay.
Yes.
So they could actually pick up hours and go above that part-time status?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Councilmember Musgrove.
Thank you, Mayor. Maybe I'm mishearing, but some of the comments suggested that we are privatizing the pool. It's simply the service that we're privatizing. The pool still belongs to the community.
Yes, it's our pool. It will be maintained by our Public Works employees. The staff who will be working the pools, I would assume the majority of them will still be our people that were here today. Instead of getting a paycheck from the city of San Marcos, they will be getting a higher paycheck from a private company.
Okay, and just for everyone's benefit, we do this all the time in the city, looking at what we're doing, how can we best spend the taxpayers' dollars to give them the best service. And I'll cite you 2 examples. One where we went from employees to private and then private to employees, and that was with our parking enforcement, where we had part-time people contracting for that. You can go back and forth with a contract service or part-time employees, but what you want to do is ensure you get the best product for our residents. And the other one is with our street sweeping, which is very recently, where we had a contract for that, and we found out that we could actually save money and provide a better service if we conducted that in-house. This is not done in a vacuum. It's a constant process. It's part of the lean program we're looking at. Everything we do is to maximize the opportunities for our residents and keeping the price consistent with what we should be charging to make sure you're getting the best service available. Thank you.
And one addition to that is best value analysis is not actually the cost sometimes, because it could vary slightly. It's really the service delivery and the cost together as a whole, because that is a very important part. I mean, if you're paying top dollar and you're not getting the services, that is not helpful. We do have one more speaker. It is Brigada Campion, I believe. I'm sorry if I said it wrong. You looked like maybe I did. I'm so sorry.
It gets messed up and spoken in a lot of different ways. It's Brigida Campion.
Brigida.
Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful name. My apologies and welcome.
Good evening, and thank you for letting me speak tonight. I'm a former employee of San Marcos, moved to San Marcos almost 3 years ago now. I was a senior guard at both Woodland Park and Las Posas. I've been in the aquatics department, not here, but my entire life since I started working at the age of 17. LA County for many, many years, and then the city of La Mirada. When we moved to Germany, I then transitioned and taught German swim lessons, and it's always been a part of my life. I'm a long-time surfer, avid aquatics person. My one concern, and you raised this, that the price point is how it was is probably not at the level that it should have been, but it was very affordable for those that can afford that price point. So I'm hoping, moving forward, you guys really take into consideration that there should be a stipend for low-income families, some type of cushion, because it won't be affordable for them. And learning how to swim shouldn't come at a cost. It shouldn't come at a cost. I can afford it. I know many of my family and friends that live in San Marcos that have gone to the pools have had a wonderful time going to the pools for as low cost that it has been. But I know that there's a lot of families out there that was the reason they came to San Marcos, because they could come with their 5 kids or their weekend and night jobs, and they could afford it. And I know with the private sector, they don't always take that into consideration. So learning how to swim saves lives, and that should always be in the forefront. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you. Yes, council member.
Thank you, Mayor. And I was going to say almost exactly what Ed said, or Council and Musgrove said, so I won't repeat that. But I do want to clarify, because there does seem to be, clarify and reinforce something that Council Member Musgrove said, is that we're not privatizing the pool. I think the last speaker, you might be under that impression, but we're not. We're going to be privatizing the lifeguard services that service the pool. And so every other aspect about the pool and our aquatics programs are going to remain the same. They're going to remain under the purview of the city of San Marcos. And so everything should be okay on that front. So, and you seemed really passionate, so I wanted to just reassure you on that, and I thank you for your comments. And I also want to just lastly, these are always tough decisions, and our staff does a great job, and I want to thank everybody that was involved in this. They're continuously looking at all of the services that we provide as a community, and they're looking at ways, like the mayor said, to find the best value to be able to meet the needs of all of you out there. And this is another example of that. And this service will allow the city to provide those aquatic services without interruption. And we've been seeing that with some of the labor challenges that are not just here within our aquatics program, but I see it in my day job, my private sector day job. There's a lot of, labor has definitely changed since the pandemic. And these types of services where you have to have 2 lifeguards on duty in order to operate the pool, we want to make sure that we can provide those pool services for you every single day. And so this will allow us to do that. So thank you, staff, for continuously looking at all of our different programs and the best way to handle those.
Thank you. Any other? Yes, Councilmember LeBlanc.
There was a concern about the pool hours, and I just wanted to ask a question. Will this affect our pool hours at all? Will it give us the ability to expand the pool hours or keep them the same as they are?
I think at the moment, we're still analyzing. So we're bringing on this, if the council approves the item tonight, that is the very first step. So that allows us this 6-7 week ramp up for the third party to come in to take a look at the hours. We are hoping that all of our lifeguards convert, so then we've already got a built-in base of lifeguards, augment that with some of the other staff, and then take a look at the demand in the community. Because if there's demand for lap swim at 6 a.m., then absolutely there'll be lap swim at 6 a.m. So it's still a little fluid, so I can't commit to exactly what the schedule's going to be, but the hope is to provide very similar service and make sure that it's more reliable.
And possibly expanded if there was the need and the staffing?
Absolutely. If there's a need in the community and they're able to staff as we anticipate, that will give us the opportunity to expand program hours. I don't want to commit to that tonight, but that certainly is the goal.
That's great, thank you.
So Michelle, just a follow-up question on that. So how are we going to be reaching out to the public? Because this is where you come in. Okay, so all of you that love our pools very much, we need you to give us feedback. So how is that going to work? Because I want you to listen very closely to this.
Yes, I believe that there will be a landing page that we will send the residents to for signups. I think the community has been waiting anxiously to get going on signups. I know a lot of parents want to get their kids in those camps as early as possible. So once this is official, we will then move forward with the logistics of how to sign up, what the class hours are going to be, what the pool hours are going to be, and then we'll use our internal communication staff to help promote the programming. So word will get out.
So it'll be on social media.
Yes.
It'll be on our website. It will also be on our alert system.
I believe that we can use our existing contact list.
For Parks and Rec, I think everything, so if you've signed up for alerts on our city website, it will then indeed alert you that we are now doing this if it's approved this evening. And then please sign up right away so we can find out, get the feedback from when the people need, when our community needs the time frames and all of that. I think that's an excellent thing. I'm glad to hear that. So all of you out there, please, we need you. You're part of our solution of how we're going to deliver the best service to you. Anything else? No? Okay, Councilmember Nunez.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Michelle, for all that information for the benefit of our residents. I do have a couple of follow-up questions. Like our speakers mentioned, I am concerned and want to make sure that the residents who cannot afford services continue to make sure that we make funding available for anybody that qualifies to have fees waived. So I just want to clarify that will continue to be available. For those residents that don't know, we do provide scholarships for families, individuals that can't afford to pay some of the fees for our programming. So can we clarify that for the benefit of our residents?
Yes, Councilmember Nunez, great question. Because this is still a City of San Marcos program, being run by a private group, we're not going to change city policy. So the existing scholarship program that's in effect will remain in effect.
Thank you for that clarification. And as usual, if anybody has questions about the program, what's available, please reach out to staff, reach out to myself. I know a lot of families still don't know that it exists, but we do have funds available for a lot of that programming, especially for our aquatics and other
other programs. And I am very thankful that we have residents here today to speak on this, especially our youth leaders. We always love to hear, and I hope that whether or not this item gets approved or how long this contract might be held, please continue to come and share your feedback. Anytime that you have suggestions, please let us know whether we're doing a great job or there's room for improvement. Please know that you're always welcome to come and share your thoughts and opinions, and you're always welcome here. So thank you for being here this evening.
Okay. With that, I would make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Seeing none. Okay, motion passes. So again, we really need the feedback from you all out in the community. And then next is oral communications. Thank you very much. We have 3 speakers. First up is John Mosier. Next will be Monica Meraz, and then it will be Grace Spivak. Welcome, John.
Hey, Mayor, City Council, City staff. I want to start by thanking Sylvia and Yvette for helping put on a great legal aid seminar today at the Senior Center. We had over 50 people come, really good turnout, a lot of questions. It was very helpful. Really appreciate that. It was great. Thank you. At the same time, I want to thank Damien with our traffic division. He actually took what Marlene had come in here and asked for before, when you leave our mobile home park and when you come out and turn, is to turn a safety lane, make it so you could actually pull into it. And he got with Public Works and they rearranged the striping. So now we can safely, if we're headed out left to Albertsons and there's traffic coming, you can safely bail out and get in that center lane, and it's great. So I want to make sure I thank them too, that they were very, very quick to get it done.
That's because we do it ourselves now.
Yeah.
It needs to be something we outsourced. Sorry.
Yeah,
I used a
that's
couple of
great.
your seconds, so I'm
no,
sorry.
It was great. Damien mentioned it to me, and then within a week, I'll go out front, and it was done. So I put a newsletter out and told everybody to thank Marlene for coming down here and talking to you guys all the time. Another thing, I want to thank Deputy Mayor Mike Sanella. He's put us in touch with Jordan Marks, the county assessor recorder, to come out here on the 25th over here at the Civic Center and in the main hall and talk to our residents about taxes, ways seniors can save, et cetera. So the outreach to our city seniors and through our mobile home parks is working out very well. And I want to thank you all for caring about us and being very active and helping us get our SEMRA organization going. And we're seeing good turnout, which is great. So thank you all.
Thank you. Yeah. I was going to give you even 10 more seconds since I took some of your time. Okay, next up is Monica Meraz, followed by Grace Spivak. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Jones and council members. My name is Monica Meraz. I am a student at Mission Hills High School and a San Marcos resident. At 17, I seen classmates lose themselves to vaping, tobacco, and alcohol. I watched bright, talented students fall behind because they were trying to cope with stress, anxiety, or wanted to feel accepted. Some started in middle school thinking it was harmless, and now they're struggling to quit something they would never thought they could control. It's painful to see people I care about spiral while the world around them shrugs it off. This isn't just a phase, it's a quiet crisis, a loud, aggressive issue at hand. That is why I'm part of the Youth Advocacy Coalition to bring awareness, to speak the truth, and fight for future kids they still deserve. Anyone who starts using tobacco can become addicted to nicotine, but the younger you are when you begin using, the more likely you are to become addicted. Nearly 9 out of 10 adults who use tobacco started before the age of 18. According to National Youth Tobacco Survey's 2024 data, the majority of students, 87.6%, use flavored e-cigarettes, fruit flavors being the most popular, followed by candy and mint. Recently, Vista Community Clinic's tobacco program surveyed 19 stores in different districts of San Marcos and found that 100% of these retailers are still sold some flavored tobacco. In addition to still selling flavored products, 84% of these retailers were located within 1,000 feet of youth-friendly areas such as parks and schools, and 68% were within 1,000 feet of another tobacco retailer. Tobacco and substance use have significant negative impacts on both mental and physical health, increasing the risk of addiction, virus diseases, and mental health conditions, while also potentially worsening existing ones. This is an issue that requires the collective effort of our community. I respectfully request that you review the infographic I've provided, which highlights these concerns in more detail. I also encourage you to attend a future community forum on April 23rd called A Piece of the Action from 5:30 to 7 p.m. to find out more about this important topic. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you. Okay, next up is Grace Spivak. There you are. From Universidad Popular.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. For the record, my name is Grace Spivak, and I'm here on behalf of Universidad Popular to provide our on-the-record updates. So the first thing we have that's really soon coming up is this Friday. We have Cesar Chavez Day of Service that we're doing in partnership with CSUSM. It's this Friday, April 11th at 12:30 p.m. And we're going to partner with all of the North County sister colleges and the high schools for a community cleanup in honor of Cesar Chavez. So we've also coordinated with several community organizations this year to host a resource fair at the same time, which was really exciting. We have 17 organizations joining us to share their available resources and services with the community. We want to thank Restoration Abbey, San Marcos Dems Club, Neighborhood Healthcare, True Care, Vista Community Clinic, San Diego County Registrar of Voters, Education Begins in the Home, the Filipino Workers Center, San Diego County Office of Labor Standards and Enforcement and Behavioral Health Services, Employees' Rights Center, and Escondido Family Health Center, the City of San Marcos, Walton Law Firm, and EDCO for their partnership for this special day. And we're especially grateful to collaborate with the Department of Industrial Relations, Cal OSHA, and the Labor Commissioner's Office, who will all be joining us at the resource fair for our San Marcos community. You may have already received some communications from the city clerk we've been communicating with. We sent our flyer to, but I brought several with me today as well to personally extend an invitation. We'd love if any of you would be able to join us. Councilmember Nunez will be there as well, so we hope to see you there. An update on the classes and programs that we offer. Our San Marcos citizenship classes are ongoing and held at San Marcos Elementary School every Tuesday from 5 to 7 p.m. We're always seeking volunteer tutors to help our students practice for the exam in English, and your support can make a meaningful difference in their journey to citizenship. We're deeply grateful for our partnerships with the San Marcos Unified School District and San Marcos Elementary Administration, whose collaboration makes our mission of empowering the community through civic engagement possible. Every new citizen in our region represents a new voter in our community, strengthening our democracy. Thank you.
I had a quick question for you. On Friday, I have a meeting down in San Diego.
Yes.
At Sandag, a little meeting.
Right.
So my question is, can I come a little bit late? Because I just won't be able to, and I'm going to have to bring a change of clothes, so I'll have to have somewhere to change as well. But I want to do it. So maybe I could get there around 12:30, 1 o'clock?
Yeah, honestly, that would be perfect. The students from San Marcos are arriving at around 1, so.
Okay, perfect.
That would be
Awesome.
great, yeah.
Yeah, thank
And
you
I'll
so
pass this
much.
along as well.
Great, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That is it for our public speakers and oral communications. So we're on to our public hearings. Item number 10, which is the resolution SHA number 2025-049, resolution number 2025-9426, approval of the amended and restated development and loan agreement with National Co-Renaissance, Richmar Senior Village LP, and related actions, including real property transfers. And as the longest-serving council member in the city, this has been going on for 16 years? I mean, honestly, almost as long as I've been on the council, because this is my 19th year, but a very, very long time. So I'm excited to hear the update on this. So Sylvia, I think you're up.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Sylvia Solis-Daniels, and tonight I will present the public hearing for the amended and restated development and loan agreement for the NCRC Richmar Senior Village LP, which was formerly known as Richmar Station San Marcos LP. The developer, National Corps, who is here with us tonight, has requested a development loan of $6 million from the city's successor housing agency to support a 100% affordable development. To provide some background on the project, the former redevelopment agency began acquiring land for this project in 2008. In 2015, the developer and the successor housing agency entered into the initial development and loan agreement for the project. It was then anticipated to be much larger in scope and size, and subsequent amendments to the original development and loan agreement occurred in 2017 and 2018. In 2023, the developer initiated entitlement activities for the proposed condensed projects, which we are discussing tonight, Richmar Senior Village. Oops. The City Council, acting in its capacity as a successor housing agency, is required by Section 33433A1 of the California Health and Safety Code to hold a public hearing to consider approval of the amended and restated development and loan agreement, and to review and consider the ramifications thereof as set forth in Section 33433. The City Council, acting in its capacity as successor housing agency, must consider the terms and approve the successor housing agency's proposed ground lease in order to proceed with the transaction. The city successor housing agency and developer are now seeking to restate the original development and loan agreement in its entirety. The amended and restated development and loan agreement will allow for the following essential business terms. The developer agrees to construct a 100% affordable development on the property. The successor housing agency agrees to provide the developer with a $6 million loan. The successor housing agency will ground lease the property to the developer for 99 years, and the developer agrees to transfer the development property and the prior successor housing agency funded properties to the successor housing agency in consideration for the lease of the prior loan. National Corps is proposing to develop the property with 51 affordable rental apartment units and 1 manager's unit. Units will be ranging from 30 to 60% of the area median income levels for older adults ages 55 and older. Additionally, 8 of the units will be designated for veterans. This is the conceptual plan for the project, which is comprised of 3 contiguous parcels located at 220 and 226 Richmar Avenue and 352 Firebird Street. The proposed project will also have a community room, lounge areas, outdoor seating areas, raised garden beds, as well as a communal laundry room. All units will either have a patio or a balcony. The total cost of the proposed development is estimated at approximately $32 million. The developer is applying for competitive state and local funding, including 9% tax credits through the State of California Low-Income Housing Tax Credit Program. We have just been informed that the developer was not successful in the current round of county funding, but they will be reapplying in the next round of county funding. Receiving the confirmation of city funding is their first step towards achieving other funding commitments, and the developer will have a couple of attempts at applying for tax credits before they close their construction loan. The city's funding commitment will assist the developer in receiving additional funding sources and bringing the project to fruition. This concludes my presentation, and I'm available for questions.
Okay, thank you very much. So a total of 51 units plus 1 manager unit, and all senior 55 plus, with a focus on 8 set aside for veterans, correct?
Yes.
Which I love to hear that, because we've talked about this ad nauseum for years. Is there anything we can do to bring some veterans units to the city? So I'm glad that we're finally moving forward to that. Any questions of the council?
Yeah,
Thank you, Mayor. Just
Councilmember Musgrove?
very, very happy to see we're putting some units aside for the veterans. The same age restriction applies to the veterans as well, 55 and over, or is it?
That's
Okay.
correct.
So
55.
that is the baseline, is 55 and over, then 8 set aside.
Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, no questions, just a quick comment. Very excited that this is moving forward and happy that we're continuing our tradition of being proactive and bringing more affordable housing options to our community. Hopefully, this initial step that we're going to take tonight, if it passes, will help kind of spur the rest of the financing that you're looking for, and we can move forward. And I also just wanted to say that the architecture and the design looks really nice, and I think it's going to be a real asset to that part of the community. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. And any other questions or, yes, Councilmember Nunez?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not sure if this is for you, Sylvia, if it's for the applicant. I do have questions about the funding.
We do have the applicant here with us.
Yeah, we actually, he's going to be speaking, so.
Then I
just-
can wait.
Okay. Any questions, Councilmember? Okay, all right, we have a few speakers on this. Whoops. First up is John Seymour from National Corps. Next up is Tad Lupton. And then Stephanie De La Torre, and then Grace Spivak.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. John Seymour from the nonprofit National Community Renaissance. We're glad to be here tonight. As you say, Mayor, finally, we've had a long-standing partnership with the City of San Marcos. We are very much engaged in local organizations here, including the Boys and Girls Club, the Chamber, True Care, et cetera. And finally, we've worked to provide literally hundreds of affordable homes here for San Marcos population, families, seniors, kids that are aging out of the foster care system at risk of homelessness as well. We do have tonight Stephanie De La Torre from Hope Through Housing. She'd like to say a few things on the services level. And then we do have a PowerPoint presentation. I don't know if we need it or if you would like it tonight from our architect on the design of the project. It's totally up to the council. It could be like a 5-minute or a 3-minute, totally up to you.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Stephanie, would you come up and talk a little bit about the services? And then, council member, I would like to answer whatever question you have on the financing.
So good evening. My name is Stephanie De La Torre. I am the Regional Director for Hope Through Housing here in San Diego. So John is National Corps, he is the house. Hope Through Housing, we are the heart. So we provide the services to our residents once they come into housing. And what Hope Through Housing, our mission is to break the generational cycle of poverty by providing programs that help residents sustain and communities thrive. So in this last year, we've had, I would say, 3 lease-ups, right? 3 lease-ups for senior projects in the 2 in the North County and 1 in South San Diego. And we provide services to all our residents. It's exciting to see, like you said, veterans being housed. It's much needed, especially veterans who face homelessness and coming into housing, and seniors as being the most vulnerable populations to not being housed at this point in time is kind of sad. We need more housing like this. So what we do is we provide services in food security, workshops and life skills, connections to care, meaning we connect our seniors to care. So working with True Care, San Diego PACE, making sure that they're getting quality care as they age in place. And we do, we work very closely with our partners, which are the VA, behavioral health, and interfaith community. And then also, we pride ourselves really on the services. We recently instituted gardens on all of our senior projects, which have been very successful with seniors in terms of their emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Our garden programs are successful. We don't have to teach seniors how to grow food.
Sorry for the timer.
And
No, your time's not up. Your time's not up. I was trying to get it stopped ahead of time. You can finish.
Okay.
I actually would love to hear more about the garden.
So yeah, so we actually last year we were awarded a grant by the San Diego Foundation, and this year we were allowed, this was for 2 garden projects, Mission Cove and San Isidro. And this year we were awarded the Growing Spaces Garden grant by San Diego Foundation. So now we've expanded to 7 gardens on senior properties. So we have a curriculum. They grow food communally. They provide food for the community that they're living in. It's been really great because especially seniors coming out of homelessness, we've seen an adjustment. They socialize, they come together, and They asked me, what do you guys do for the kids? I'm like, we had a ladybug release, and they were so excited to see the ladybugs. And they're seniors, right? So they were learning about STEM. And it's just been, the garden thing has just been a really great kind of focal point for our services. The other great thing we've done in this last year is we have a peer support program. So with NAMI, the National Association of Mental Illness, and the County of San Diego, we've been able to have peer support. So these are individuals that have come out of homelessness, that have sustained, that have made a life for themselves, and they're paired with seniors in their first year of housing and setting goals and succeeding. And the project has been really, really successful. It's really heartwarming because everything from wanting a job to a senior not knowing how to go about getting a companion animal, they're achieving their goals because coming out of homelessness into housing is a very scary thing. Because now, as my residents say, now I'm responsible for like things I haven't been responsible for a long time. And so these programs allow them to sustain and age in place and to be communal in a garden and to do health and wellness and have food security. And it's all important. And it's what we love to do, and we do it well. And it's great to even think of having, one of the things working National Core here in San Marcos is we're always getting questions about senior housing. And so this is great that this will be available to seniors in the San Marcos community. So thank you.
Definitely. And I love the garden part, and it's got the community patio with the grill. Oh, there it is. So where is it on that? I'm trying to find it. The garden?
You're going into the architectural presentation there now. And
Okay,
this will
I'm
be,
getting
Tad's-
getting thrown off.
Could back up a few screens. There we go. All right, Tad. You're
Okay.
advancing us.
You can go ahead and give us a full presentation, but knowing that we want to know where that is located, if
Sure.
you don't mind.
Well, thank you very much, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Tad Lupton. I'm one of the managers of architecture for RRM Design Group, and we are very happy to be the partners with National Core and Hope Through Housing. So I'm here to talk about the architecture. Again, so if you want to advance the slide. So the project, again, is 52 units of affordable housing, with one of those units being the manager's office. The units are 10 studios that are about 325 square feet roughly. Then there are the 41 single bed units. Those are 520 square feet, and that's net square feet. And then we have the 3-bedroom manager's unit that's around 1,000 square feet. The footprint of the building, it sits on a little over 3/4 of an acre, so 0.85 acres of land. That is 37,000 square feet. And of that, on the ground is 17,000 square feet for the building footprint. So that leaves 20,000 square feet of amenities, things like the landscaping, the parking, and all of the different accessories to support the building. So as far as landscaping, if you want to go to the next slide, there's a significant amount of landscaping. It is all native and drought-resistant landscaping. There are a number of amenities like the herb gardens, which you see kind of in the upper left-hand corner. Those are raised beds for herbs. There are a number of bike racks that are kind of in the north part, kind of where you see the number 19 on the slide. We also have community and small group gathering tables for people to get together and socialize. There are carports, so there are 25 parking spaces on site. All of those are underneath carports that have solar on top of them. And of those spaces, we have 2 of those that are van accessible spaces. One of those is a EV space. We have 2 EV accessible spaces 2 EV spaces, charging stations. One of those is accessible. And then there also are 7 EV ready and 3 EV capable spaces. So we are planning for the future. Again, the way the plan is laid out, the center of the space is the community space and the support spaces, and then the units fill the rest of the building. Moving on. So architecturally, what we tried to do is we did look at the context. Around here, there's Villa Serena, which was done by National Core as well. The language of that is definitely contemporary. There are angled roofs, there are earth tones, but there also are the other buildings, the Plaza del Paseo and the Mission Road projects, all of which have kind of a rich earth tone kind of color scheme to them. They're both respectful of kind of Mission and Southern California architecture, but they give it kind of a modern contemporary twist. And so that's what we were going for with the design of this project. The nice thing about the project that we love is that it's right next to Richmar Park. And so the color scheme tries to pick up on those rich greens, kind of the watercolor, being this close to the coast, and then has some nice neutral colors. The entry, if you want to go to the next slide, actually keep one more, and one more. I guess I moved past that. Okay, so as far as the process, you all have mentioned the length of time that it's taken, but we appreciate that we're here at this point. We have submitted again to the Planning Commission, and so we're in the process trying to get across the finish line. Moving to the next slide. So again, this is an image from Pico Street and Richmar. Again, we're trying to anchor the corners with tower elements that are have a little more presence. The stone next to the towers that's kind of flanked by the 2 towers, that is part of the entry sequence. So we definitely wanted for that to feel more ceremonial and more permanent in nature. And then we're keeping to a 3-story height on the project. And so that really is the language of the architecture.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions of the architect?
There was just one clarification that this is not a homeless senior project. These are extremely low income and low income seniors, with the exception of the 8 veterans. So this is not a permanent supportive housing project, as would be, as you know and are aware of. This is not that, for point of clarification.
Yeah, I didn't hear
Okay.
that part of homeless. I thought it was senior, which is more of an intervention, honestly, in my opinion, when you're talking about homeless intervention of having people
Is-
not lose their home or lose their roof over their
It's a
head.
housing safety net to prevent our seniors from falling into homelessness. But
Correct.
they're not coming from homelessness.
Yes, that's what I understood, so I'm glad we're on the same page. Yes, council member.
I don't know if I missed it, but if it wasn't mentioned, it's also very nicely positioned so close to our senior center, which will be a great way for them to have additional opportunities to engage with other seniors. So that's going to be great.
Absolutely, as well as the park.
The rail line.
The rail line, the bus line, the VFW
Rail trail.
post, and the San Marcos Veterans Center.
And this building.
Yes,
And City Hall. More seniors down here.
perfect.
Okay.
Any other questions of the architect? If not, Councilmember Nunez, you can go ahead and ask your question of John Seymour.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
I'll start with the follow-up, since how somebody would become a resident at one of these coveted homes. Can you talk about what that looks like, considering the great need that we have right now, and then a need we're gonna continue to see increase, right, as our population, our residents age. So can you walk us through what that looks like if somebody wanted to become a resident? Because I know that's a question that I get a lot.
Yes, council member, that's a good question. So, as is typical with many other affordable developers, as the project starts going to completion, getting closer to the certificate of occupancy, usually within 3 to 4 to maybe 5 months of completion, we have an early interest list where we'll be working with staff to post it on the city website. We'll have a signage there that says, if you're interested, please get on this mailing list. et cetera. We'll be posting in the newspapers, the local San Marcos newspapers, and when people see the construction, word will get out really quick, mostly to people that live around here. And of course, for people at the senior center, they're gonna see it. So they get on the list, and they will be asked to provide basic information. And as we roll through and we start the leasing process up, first come, first serve. So if you're first on the list, you have first opportunity to be eligible, and they go through income eligibility, et cetera, et cetera. And the second and the third, and we anticipate probably there'll be, I won't be surprised if there's 1,500 people for 52 homes on the list. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you for that.
There will be ample opportunity for community, to people getting on the list.
Okay, thank you for that. I
Got
know
it.
that's a question that a lot of our residents have in terms of their, I think it's some of them have a better chance probably of winning the lottery than landing one of these coveted homes, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
The other questions that I have, and thinking through what your timeline looks like for tax credits and potential funding, as Sylvia mentioned that you didn't secure funding from the county in this last round. So one of the things that I'm very concerned is in thinking through the budget deficit that the county is facing, and then obviously our state, and then the cuts that we're seeing with the federal government. So what does that look like then for your potential for securing additional funding?
Right, good question. So we met yesterday with county staff, and they briefed us. There was $11 million available, and there was 17 projects that came across, requesting $43 million. So it was oversubscribed by over 4 to 1. They have the preferences because it is the county, preferences being the unincorporated area. Number 2 being a county surplus land act property. And then from there, if you're readiness to pull building permits, which we nearly are, and then local subsidy from the city of which the project lives in, which we didn't have that, so we got dinged. So they invited us to come back. They support the population type, meaning 8 integrated permanent supportive housing units for veterans within the senior community. They urged us to come back, and I said, we will, we're not going anywhere. The land is bought. We're going to council tomorrow night. We had our meeting yesterday. And Tina said, that's fine. So going forward, she also mentioned that, the Board of Supervisors have an election today, I think, actually.
Yeah, we've heard about
Yeah,
that.
and so it's going to be interesting to see who wins, and if the policy of the board says yes, we're gonna put more money in, or not. We don't know yet. There's no money right now budgeted for that, but the board has authority to put money in for affordable housing, and we will all be working hard to make sure that they put money in. More than that, we usually see $25 million a year in the county. 25, not 11. So we'll see what happens. Everyone's on a level playing field, though. If no one can get money because there is none, it lowers everything, and we'll see where we go from there.
So I would imagine then you'll come back to us if there's anything else that we can do to support, obviously, the project moving forward and making sure that this resource comes to our city.
Absolutely. And just for the council's understanding and anyone that's, understanding, the loan tonight is substantial, but it's in line. It's been vetted. The county's vetted it. Kaiser Marston's vetted it. I just want to highlight the fact that of the total project costs of about $33 million, the private sector is coming to the table with over $16 million of private capital. And then we have assurances that we'll get a conventional mortgage from one of the lenders of $5.3 million. So clearly, the private sector is coming to the table. It's not just the city and the county funding this project. Your money will be leveraged to the greatest extent possible to squeak every dollar out we can on this project. And all projects in the future at the city, they should do the same thing.
Thank you for that. I know this is a complicated process. I want to make sure that our residents understand what we're up against and the great work that you've done so far. And as the mayor mentioned, how long this has been in process. So thank you for that explanation. My question is also about funding and thinking through what's ahead, and this may also be a question for Stephanie. I know part of what you do in your living facilities is provide these great services to the residents. And if I understand, a lot of these services are provided by third parties or organizations that are subject to, I think, some public funding, some federal funding. So I'm thinking through what you may or may not be able to offer. How impacted are you? Are you impacted now? Is that going to change what you may incorporate into this project? I'd like to hear about that.
I think, Stephanie, if you have some insights on that, it's really unknown right now. We provide our own services as well as you said, external groups, and if those external groups are relying on federal funding, that's going to be a tough sell. So we're going to have to get a little bit more,
I would say
a little bit, yeah.
more creative. I
A
mean,
lot
in
more.
the last 5 years, we moved to outside third-party partnerships. We used to do a lot of our services in-house, direct services. So we may be going back to that a little, retraining staff that they will be doing direct services. Of course, can't give everybody a raise, but we don't stop what we're doing. We just have to get creative with it. We know that we've seen one program cut by the county already, which was a mental health program that provided services for mental health first aid for some of our residents. And so we're going to see it coming. It's just a matter of how we recoup and we continue to provide the quality of services for our residents. Just may look a little different, and we're doing more of the direct services. We do have now hybrid positions with case managers. So we have more case management on site where we're doing that internally. And we've gotten funded through projects with John and other developers that we're able to provide that level of staffing, which is great because we're providing a higher quality of service when we're having case managers, because they come with the master's or the MSW degrees to provide that quality of service.
So for instance, these case managers, are they hired by Hope Through Housing? Is that
Yeah.
what, okay.
Yeah, and we train them, and then we work closely, they're part, they do everything a case manager would do for another organization, but now it's in-house.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, and we're seeing, we're seeing a change, but then there's great things coming down the pipeline for us also. So we're going to be doing more workforce partnership. We were awarded a grant by the governor's office, and actually San Marcos is one of the locations where we're going to have our core academy. So we'll be providing training in property management to residents of San Marcos in the North County area. So also providing opportunities within the industry for people. So, we go with the flow, we do it, and we know it's coming, it's just how we're readjusting to it. The most important, impactful thing is going to be the food security, which is going to impact all organizations, I think.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree with that. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
You're welcome. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. If there's any more questions, otherwise, we appreciate your support.
Thank you. I don't think we have any questions right now, but we'll bring you back up if we need to. We do have two more public speakers, Grace Spivak, followed by Marlene Walder.
Thank you. Again, my name is Grace Spivak. I'm with Universidad Popular. And for those who aren't aware, we are a community organization here in San Marcos, deeply invested in the well-being of all of our residents. And we just want to ensure that this new development, if it does, go as according to plan, is approached with transparency and a commitment to minimizing the disruption to the daily life of the residents of the area. We understand the importance of development and growth, but we do want to urge the council and the developers, of course, to prioritize the voices and the needs of our community here. We ask that the council create structured opportunities for resident input and ensure that the community concerns are reflected in this planning process. So we are eager to collaborate to help shape a project that does serve the city's growth and our neighborhood's well-being and our seniors as well. Just to note that
This development is actually our direct neighborhood. It's 1 block away from where our office is and where most of our students live. And so this project is very close to home. We want to ask the council to take an equity-focused approach to this development. So just to ensure that protections are included for local businesses like the San Marcos Market right there, which is an integral part of the community, and for any vulnerable populations in the surrounding area. So we believe that thoughtful development can benefit everyone when everyone is involved. So thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Marlene Walder.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, City Council, and staff. Can you put the project description one back on? My background was dealing with senior recreation and housing way back when. And my question is, I don't know if these houses are built for the people to stay. Let's say they come in at 65, and to be able to stay until they get to the point I feel like I'm getting. Many of them have issues with, okay, we break a leg, we hit a hip or hand. I was in my own place, and it's not that old, and I was in a wheelchair for 5 months. And I couldn't get through the doorways, and mine was built with the wider doors and hallways than some of the old ones. I'd like to know, it wasn't that one, it's the one after that. I'd like to know, are the doorways larger, that if they are in a walker, are the bathrooms handicapped? Are the doors coming into the place as well as the doors going into the bathroom and bedroom if they have a larger house, apartment, wide enough? I had lived before in a house when I was younger here, and the doors were not wide enough to get a big bed through the door frame, and we had to take it through the sliding glass door windows, that way. So to me, that's real important. When they're making one laundry room, even though there's only 52 units, when you're older, a lot of people don't walk. And if the laundry room is right in the center, that's fine and dandy. But if it's off to one side and you don't have 2 laundry rooms, and if something goes wrong plumbing-wise, you have also an issue. But I like this, and I'm not saying anything against it. I'm just saying when we're building for 55 and older, considerations to the aging population and their health. The apartments need to have different type of access. And it's a very expensive project. I don't know what the rent will be for low income. And I've been to some of these low-income properties, but 350 square feet is not very much for closets.
Thank you, Marlene. I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but it would be ADA accessible, which would mean that it would definitely be walker and wheelchair friendly, and then I believe there would probably be an elevator. Is that correct? Elevator. 2 laundry rooms, elevator, and then also ADA accessible, so all of your questions are answered. So I'm sorry. Maybe we could have them speak to you after the meeting or something like that. But anyway, I think my questions are answered. Anyway, I think this is a great project. This is a public hearing, so we don't have any other questions of the speaker.
Move to close the public hearing.
Okay, and I'll second that. A motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Okay, any other discussion amongst the council? No? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion
moved.
to approve.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any no votes? Seeing none, motion passes unanimously, and good luck with getting the money from the county, and then also the tax credits. We definitely need the 51 more units for our community and our seniors. Thank you very much. Okay. Should I go through every single,
I think the recommendation was as recommended by staff, but you can
yes,
clarify
as
that.
recommended by staff.
It's all three actions. There is the council acting in its capacity as a successor housing agency, and then the city council adopting a resolution approving the amended and restated development agreement. So
Yes,
it
I
was
read
as
that in the
recommended
morning,
by
in the
staff.
beginning, and that's why I always do that.
No, I
so that
appreciate
there's
it,
no-
Walter. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no problem. Okay, item number 11, proposed goals for the Community Development Block Grant 2025-29 Consolidated Plan and the 2025-26 Annual Action Plan. Do we have a presentation this evening on this?
We do.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'm Sylvia Solis-Daniels, Housing and Neighborhood Services Director. Joining me tonight is Quentin Hufford, Senior Analyst, who will present the public hearing for the Community Development Block Grant, our CDBG program, the Consolidated Plan for program years 2025 through 2029.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. The U.S., let's get here. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, commonly known as HUD, provides annual funding to eligible cities through the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, program. Funds must support eligible projects in San Marcos and meet one of three national objectives, which are to benefit low to moderate income persons, prevention or elimination of slums or blight, address current or urgent needs, typically emergencies. To receive these funds, the city must adopt a 5-year consolidated plan, commonly known as a CON plan, identifying community needs and program goals. Our current CON plan expires June 30th, 2025. In August 2024, the city hired Veronica Tam and Associates to support the development of the 25 to 29 CON plan. Their work includes community outreach, needs assessments, housing analysis, and drafting strategic goals. We gathered public input through a survey available from September to November 2024 in English and Spanish. It received 218 responses, highlighting top needs such as public infrastructure and community facilities, affordable rental and senior housing, home buyer assistance and fair housing services, and then public services for seniors, transportation, and healthcare or mental health services. Additionally, we hosted 2 community workshops, one in person, which was Spanish-led with English translation, and then one virtual in English, along with a stakeholders workshop for local service providers that operate here in San Marcos. A total of 34 individuals participated. Community input helped shape the following proposed goals for the 25 to 29 consolidated plan. The examples listed under each goal are illustrative, not exhaustive. We have public infrastructure and community facilities. These include street improvements such as street lights, sidewalk repairs, ADA access, safety and energy upgrades in low to moderate income benefit areas. And then facility improvements such as parks, community centers, and senior centers also in low to moderate income areas. We also have an affordable housing goal, which includes programs like housing repair or rehab assistance, and then affordable housing acquisition or development support. And then we have, rounding out our goals, is public services, which would include services for youth, seniors, individuals experiencing or at risk of homelessness, individuals with disabilities, and then fair housing support. These goals are designed to close the gaps in housing and support services for San Marcos residents in eligible areas. HANS staff, or Housing and Neighborhood Services staff, will return in May 2025 after a 30-day public comment period with CDBG funding recommendations for the next program year. Community feedback will be incorporated into the final con plan and annual action plan for 25 to 26. Instructions for submitting public comment will be provided in the draft con plan and annual action plan available online and at City Hall. And this concludes our presentation. And both Sylvia and I are available for any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from the council? Yes, Councilmember Nunez.
I don't really have a question, but I just want to say great job with the outreach. Those is excellent that we received that many responses. So thank you for all that work.
Thank you.
All right, and we do have one speaker on this, Grace Spivak.
Hello again, thank you for having me. We at Universidad Popular want to emphasize the importance of this grant program for our community. As a community organization, we recognize how vital these funds are in supporting the services and programs that directly impact the well-being of our residents. So we want to thank you for all the work that is being done on this. These grants help to ensure that we can provide essential services such as affordable housing, healthcare, job training, and improvements to our public infrastructure, such as the way that the city is supporting that as well. For our community members, these services are critical, as you know, especially for those who are low and moderate income. And the CDBG program enables us to build a stronger and more equitable community by addressing the diverse needs of our San Marcos residents. So I urge the council to continue to prioritize this funding to ensure that we have the resources to serve everyone in our community. And I want to thank you again. It's a great program, so thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any further discussion from council? If not, this is also a public hearing, and we are also opening the 30-day public period. Does anyone make a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Okay. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, do we have a motion to open the 30-day public period?
Move to open a 30-day
Comment
period.
Yes? Okay, and I'll second that. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Seeing none. Okay, so we will be back then next month so that we will be listening to more public comment because we're all about listening to our community. And then we will vote at that point in time. Okay, moving forward to oral communications. No more oral communications. And then we next up have reports. At Sandag, which was 2 weeks ago, actually, I guess a week and a half ago, we have another meeting coming up this Friday, as I had mentioned. It wasn't a huge, a lot of things, even though the budget was part of, the draft budget anyway, was part of the discussion. We approved some RTP, regional transportation funding, transit, intercity rail capital program, and then also the draft budget. One of the, in the draft budget, we are adding, and I know Councilmember Musgrove, you were working on this for quite some time, 2 new auditor positions, and then also a third position, which is actually an internal position at Sandag, which is a director of internal controls, which they will be using some of our verbiage and requirements for our director of lean government. So it'll be trying to figure out how to waste less money at Sandag, because I'm always railing about how much, pardon the pun on the railing part, but I'm always railing about how much money is spent that we're not actually providing projects for the folks in the community. So that's one of the things that we'll be working on, our internal controls and figuring out how to have better processes, something that we do here in San Marcos on a regular basis. But anyway, those are the 2 main things, and then we are the 3 main things, and then we have another meeting coming up this week on Friday. And then next up is League of California Cities. Councilmember Musgrove.
Thank you, Mayor. On the 27th of March, we had our, I guess we call it our semi-annual state meeting, and it was in Burbank. I was at taxation and revenue, and I will address that. While I had really anticipated being a status report on taxation and revenue within the state, not that it wasn't entertaining or informative, but it was Larry Cosmont from the Cosmont Group giving us a class on how we can best mitigate delays in our processes for building so we can maximize our profit potential in those projects. Such things as, from the builder's perspective, be clear what you want, work toward yes, and get out of the way. Clearly define use to mitigate CEQA challenges. So it was a lot of what we do already in this city, but I think for some of the attendees, it was maybe a little eye-opener. So hopefully, we'll get something that really addresses the meat that we can bring back, which is the current state of our state budget and how the state anticipates filling the deficits that we already have. So also, Councilmember LeBlanc was in a separate session.
For League, I'm actually on 2 of the policy committees this year. I'm on Housing, Community, and Economic Development, and I'm also on Community Services. So I had those on Thursday and Friday. So in Housing, Community, and Economic Development, Cal Cities is sponsoring one bill this year that we talked a lot about, and it's basically improving the housing element review process, and it would give cities 1 year instead of 10 months to do their housing element. And it would basically allow cities to begin their housing element update process 6 months earlier than the existing law and incentivize us to submit our drafts to the state about 180 days sooner. And then it also requires the state to provide written communication identifying any deficiencies in the housing element. So basically the goal of this one is time and clarity to basically avoid penalties from the state in housing mandates. So it basically would provide cities protection from the state if they're working in good faith. So that's a great one for them to support. So we talked about that at length. And then we actually had 2 action items where we had to vote to support or oppose a couple bills. And then our recommendation is then taken to the board for them to decide. So one of the action items there was on AB 306, which deals with building regulations. And basically this would put a 6-year moratorium on changing building standards and regulations that are not related to public safety. And again, that's really important. This is just regulations that are not related to public safety. There are some exceptions. And this bill was actually in response to the wildfires. And the goal is to lower housing costs and to create more certainty for development, especially affordable housing developers. And it just gives time for developers and residents to play catch up in this regard. So this action item, there was a motion to support that passed. We had about 40 people, and it passed 33-4. Doing my math wrong there, but we had so then we also had AB 87, which is a density bonus for mixed-use developments. And this would require any mixed-use density bonus project to not have any sort of motel or hotel or Airbnb attached to it. This was actually, we supported this unanimously. And basically, I guess in recent years, some developers in cities across the state have been using density bonus improperly. And they will have a few affordable housing units on the bottom and then have like a big hotel above that. So this is aiming to avoid that situation. And then we also briefly discussed SB 79, which is the transit-oriented development. At that time, Cal Cities had not taken a stance on that, but I know they have now opposed that, which basically allows heightened density bonuses around transit areas, and it gives transit agencies land use authority on their land. And like I said, Cal Cities just came out, I think it was a couple days ago, I got an alert that they're opposing that one. And then my other policy committee, Community Services, Cal Cities is actually sponsoring 5 bills in community services this year, and a couple key ones are that we talked at length about were SB 569, which is the Homeless Encampment Collaboration Act. I love this one, and this will be really great for our city. It basically partners Caltrans with cities to make sure that they're removing homeless encampments on state property, such as, by our freeways, our on and off ramps, things like that, where we don't have jurisdiction. And then SB 456 is supporting public art and protecting muralists. And this was a really interesting one. It would, basically, there's a requirement that proposed that muralists need a contractor's license, which is very expensive, and it requires a 4-year apprenticeship. So this would exempt muralists from having to obtain a contractor's license and do the 4-year apprenticeship, which is really great to promote public art. And we had one action item here, which was AB 543, which deals with Medi-Cal and street medicine. So this one we also voted to support. And what this would do is it would enable street medicine providers to utilize Medi-Cal on the spot, and it would establish a presumptive liability so that anyone who's homeless, when these street providers go out to them to provide them medication or medical services where they are, they can do it immediately. In some situations, they were having to find out what these homeless need and then go through a lengthy Medi-Cal process to get them signed up, and then, a few weeks later try to go back and find the same homeless individual and give them the treatment they need, which obviously is not effective. So this would allow them to get the treatment on the spot. So I went through that fast, but we did have long meetings. They were very interesting.
Thank you. I actually wanted to follow up on a couple of things. So the Caltrans, that the state would need to clear the homeless encampments under the overpasses. What number was that again? What did you say that one was?
That was
Sorry.
the SB 569.
569.
Yes.
Because that's huge for us. We've historically had issues both at Rancho Santa Fe. Oh, no, sorry, Las Posas. I wrote Rancho Santa Fe. I don't know why I wrote that. Las Posas, we've had an issue with that. And then also a lot at Mission, to be honest, which is right there near Escondido. And then I'm glad you brought up SB 79, because for everyone out there, the force cities, this is what it says, honestly, in the action alert, that SB 79 would force cities to approve higher density residential projects up to 7 stories near public transit stops, regardless of the zoning. So in my opinion, again, a huge overreach. This is by, is it Scott Wiener? And more bad legislation, and then it gives transit agencies full land use authority over residential and commercial development on any property that they own or lease. I'm less worried about them and more worried about a 7-story building that's near a public transit stop, regardless of the zoning. So it doesn't any longer matter what we want here in a community, in a city. It matters what the state wants. I have a huge problem with that, as I always talk about this. No state overreach, and here it is again. I do believe, and we've already supported this back in 2021, I guess it was. It was Our Neighborhood Voices. It is going to be coming back. The reason I bring this up is because it's super important for our community to understand, if you want local land use authority, it needs to come back to us and get the state out of our business, and that is Our Neighborhood Voices. It is going to be hopefully getting on the ballot next year in 2026. If it does not, that's going to be a terrible shame, because all of these bills, and again, back to 7 stories. 7 stories, regardless of whether you have a single story right next to it. I think it's a real issue, and it does destroy our communities, because it's essentially putting an apartment building right next to other properties. And again, regardless of what the zoning is adjacent to it. So I have a real problem with that. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox, but this stuff really irritates me, as you all know, probably. Okay, North County Transit District. Deputy Mayor Sanella.
Yes.
And I'm sorry for calling you
It's okay.
council member.
I've been called worse. We meet next week on the 17th.
Okay. Next up is North County Dispatch Joint Powers Authority, Councilmember LeBlanc.
We meet in May.
Okay. Clean Energy Alliance, Councilmember Nunez.
Thank you, Mayor. So we had a short meeting. Our last meeting was March 27, 2025. And to continue on the bills that have been introduced, we did receive our updated legislative and regulatory policy platform, not a whole lot of changes. But I do want to add and bring to your attention that there are two, there's an Assembly Bill 303 and Senate Bill 283 that we're going to be following. These are in storage, battery storage facility bills that have been introduced. I don't believe that they've been assigned to committee yet, so we're going to be following those. One of them is in SB 283 is being introduced by Senator Padilla here locally, and so that's been added to our list of items that we're going to be keeping track of. And these are in response to the, obviously, the incidences that we're seeing locally with battery storage.
Yes, and just for clarity, I believe our fire marshal, Jason, would be following these pretty closely as to what's going on with them, because we do have regulations for these facilities and that are able to be updated as state law may affect them, and things that are happening and emerging in the technology. Correct?
Yeah, and they are really early. I just wanted to flag it to let obviously our residents and the council know that it's something that they have been introduced, but really early. In fact, I haven't seen or heard any really kind of analysis yet so far.
Yes, and our fire marshal is very connected and is on a number of committees, so he will be watching this very closely for us. We'll be updating you as we go.
Wonderful. Okay.
A couple of more announcements that I want to highlight. I keep hearing that the Clean Energy Alliance is a startup, and it looks like we've been growing a lot. You might remember that the last two cities that were added, Oceanside and Vista, and we did get an update that the enrollment's been completed. So really busy. And along with that, we did authorize for additional staff to be hired. So they're currently recruiting 4 new positions. So that's happening. We have hired and we're looking to employ key account specialists or analysts, program specialists, energy analytics and risk analysts, or a manager, and energy contracts and compliant analysts or manager. So these recruitments are going on right now. And then I also want to remind our residents that they do have the ability to have a direct say-so. We have our Citizens Advisory Committee, and we have 2 vacancies right now, one in San Marcos. The deadline to apply for that position is this Friday, and then Escondido also has a vacancy right now. And I believe that vacancy, the application, I think it's April the 18th, so that's a little bit longer period. But I want to make sure that that information is out there, and anyone interested can go into the Clean Energy Alliance to apply for the position.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Next up is City Council business visits. I'm sorry, I almost called you council member again. I don't know what's going on with me today.
It's still new.
Deputy Mayor, no, it's not that new. Deputy Mayor Sanella and I went. There's a picture of us. They have a really cool program. So just to give you a little bit of history of this one's kind of cool because back when I joined the City Council in 2007, one of the first businesses that I actually ever visited, and it wasn't an official city program, was Creative Electron. Back then in 2008, they had just 8 employees, and now they're 1,200 employees worldwide. So very exciting for them. They're a great company, but they essentially have X-ray machines. That's how they started out. X-ray machines for nearly anything that you need to X-ray. So it's electronics, plastics, medical devices, all kinds of things. But anyway, so they have grown quite a bit. And Councilmember Sanella and I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor, I did it again. Every time I look at you, I don't know, I say the wrong thing, sorry. Anyway, Deputy Mayor and I actually had been there once before, quite a while ago. So it was good to get an update from them. And they just bought their 5th building in the city. And what they're doing is really groundbreaking. If you want to talk about their, do you want this?
Yeah, thank
Do you
you.
want that?
We actually visited last probably around 13 months ago, because the 4-month-old in the picture wasn't born when we were
No,
there. but
not born
just
yet.
about born.
Yep.
And so that's a
If you
good
want
way
that.
to kind of tell what time it was. But one of the really cool things, not only are they having all the growth, and they have out of those 1,200 employees that they have worldwide, about 100 of them are working out of their San Marcos offices. They're about ready to go into their 5th building. And the 5th building, if we can, I don't know if we have that.
Yep, that's it.
You can see it right there in the middle.
In the middle.
For reference for the public, it's that building that's right off of the 78 frontage that used to be the chef restaurant business. Before that, it was the piano business.
Right.
It had the piano keys on the side of the building. So it was very prominent along the 78. So I think
On Carmel. It's on Carmel.
Off the 78. But
Yep.
and what I was really excited about, in addition to all the neat and innovative things that Creative Electron's doing, there was rumors that land or that building might end up being housing, and that would have been good too. But this is going to be really nice as they continue to grow and expand and create these really good, high-paying jobs in our community. It's going to be nice to have that in that specific location, because it is on the freeway frontage. It's very near Cal State San Marcos, and we did talk a lot with them during our visit yesterday about some of the collaboration that they're going to have with the school and the innovation center there, and getting the students opportunities to see the technology and get some hands-on experience with that. And so that's a perfect location. And then all that housing that is being developed around North City and beyond, the folks that move into that area, they'll have opportunities for high-paying jobs that they could either walk to or ride a bike to, and that's really part of the grand vision in that area. And I know that Bill Cardoza, who founded Creative Electronics in 2008, he also recently had a meeting with the developers of the North City development, and they're starting to talk about ways that they can collaborate. And as North City continues to develop with the residential and the commercial and restaurants and hotels and all the things that are going to end up over there in the long term, it's good to now have the employment opportunities there as well. And so just a great local success story, and they're doing so many really great things. And it's just nice to have a company like this that's been so successful, and they're they're just continuing to expand. And the other thing that was really interesting, I'm not even reading off the notes, and it was just yesterday.
I know, I want you to say that part. The
Yeah,
SMT.
okay, I know.
Okay.
Sorry, Tess, I know you probably took
I
time
handed it to him so he could look at it, because I couldn't find it. It was in my binder.
I know you took a lot of time to write this. I'm just kind of going off the cuff here, but.
It was Sarah.
Oh, Sarah, sorry. But this new space here is going to be an SMT Center of Excellence, where they're going to bring in a bunch of different companies. I think he said it was
Service
okay.
Mount Technology.
Service Mount Technology.
Mm-hmm.
I think he said it was okay to mention one of them was going to be Panasonic.
Correct.
But there's going to be probably about 10 to 12 different businesses that are going to showcase that their manufacturing capabilities there in the back windows along there. And then on the side that you can't see that we're facing, there's going to be a wall of screens and a stage where the leaders of these companies and the folks that are the technology leaders are going to be giving presentations to other folks that work in the industry, but also the students from Cal State San Marcos, Palomar College, and
conferences and all of that.
He actually said all of the schools in San Diego County, which I think is going to be a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And they're going to host conferences there, which will also bring more folks to San Marcos, and they'll go to our restaurants, and they'll go to stay at our hotels, and kind of really help kind of spur that economic vitality of everything as well. So
And it's the
super
first of
exciting.
its kind here
Yeah,
in
first of its kind.
California.
Yep.
Well, I think just in California overall. And just to let you know, their imaging capabilities are both 2D and 3D X-rays. with CT reconstruction that enables deep internal inspection of complex parts and assemblies, which then again, like medical devices and all of that. In the old days, it used to be you would take, like 10% of all of the things you're manufacturing and cut them up and slice them to do your quality control. Now you just stick them in an x-ray machine. And even bulletproof vests, that sort of thing, it's super cool to actually see. And then, like they might have a machine that they've already built, because they build these machines from beginning, its inception. They might have a business that says, oh, it needs to do this other thing, and then they literally say, okay, and they make it do all of the things that they wanted to do. So it's a really cool company, and again, from 8 to 1,200, it's pretty impressive, and that's worldwide. And they're working pretty well, I think, with the all of the things that are happening in our federal government with tariffs and that sort of thing, because they are setting up companies in the country of origin so that they can actually work around that. And they've been doing that for about a year, so they were well prepared for anything that comes forward. So this isn't really stopping them where they're at. And I think the very first picture, there was the baby. So they have this is kind of one of a kind thing too, is they actually have a room for the young parents that have babies that need to bring them to work with them, and they have a nanny that takes care of the kids right then and there. So this 6-month-old baby, she's very cute, by the way, that 6-month-old baby has her mom whenever she needs her, and it's a really ground-breaking sort of way to deal with families and support them in a way that I've never seen before. So I thought we were doing well with Baby on Board. This actually takes it one step further. So pretty cool program that they have there. Anything else?
No. That's
Okay.
great.
All right. With that, we have council commentary. I only wanted to clear up one thing, and that is SB 79, the 7-story by right housing. We are indeed opposing that, of course, and we are going to be making sure that we get that to all of our local legislative elected officials, I can't even speak, so that they know where we stand on that. Local control is always best for a community, and that's really all I have. Anyone have anything else? Okay, this meeting's adjourned. Thank you.